Hey guys, what it do? It's your boy Supreme Uchiha the God. I might make this into like separate parts video, because there's actually so much to cover and talk about. But I want to talk about One Piece because I caught up after 1,000 chapters. I know. Swag Kage dropped a video similar to mine what I'm doing, which is what do I think of One Piece after 1,000 plus chapters. And the thing is, as you guys know, I already made one of One Piece after 300 chapters, One Piece after whatever. I've been kind of doing it steadily. It took me a while to do this one because I had to really sit down and think about it. I don't write scripts often. When I do, I usually call it video essay. And so I have to like sit down and think and mull through ideas and figure out my full thoughts before I kind of sit down and then record and kind of spitball and go crazy. But basically, the thing is with One Piece, overall I really like One Piece. I really only have two major problems with One Piece, right? Maybe three, but one really major, and the others are more, I suppose, mid issues rather than like major issues. But maybe let me start with some positive. I really like the characters. Not all of them, but a lot of them. I like Luffy a ton. I think Luffy's a fantastic protagonist. You know what I'm saying? I think just him as a character gets like a 9 rating in just quality and all of that. In perspective, Naruto, my favorite anime of all time, I'd give Naruto himself a character rating of 8.2, 8.5. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I really genuinely feel. Zoro is a fantastic character, but I don't think he's written. He's my favorite character, by the way. Zoro is my favorite character in One Piece. I don't think he's written as well as Luffy. I don't think he's written as well as even Law, to be honest, in some ways. I don't think he's, he doesn't really get enough story. Like, we don't really know Zoro. Like, out of everybody in the Straw Hats, which is a bit weird because he's supposed to be the second most important character in the group, we know him the least. You know what I'm saying? We just know that he had a sparring partner that died. That's it. That's all we know about Zoro. And he was a bounty hunter. That's it. We have two whole character arcs for Sanji. We have I don't really care about Brook. It's fine. I don't really think like all the new members need full on arcs, but I think all the main members should. You know what I'm saying? We got Nami's full story. We got Usopp's full story. We have several stories focused on Usopp. Sanji got two full backstories. I just don't really think Zoro story wise has been treated that well. I think his character is carried heavily by his persona. You know what I'm saying? His attitude, what he says, what he thinks, and just who he is. You know what I'm saying? As well as the cool action scenes that he has. But I think it's maybe a bit too much in that, and not enough on character, personality growth and like really knowing his full story. He's kind of arbitrarily driven. Like, he's driven because he wants to be the greatest swordsman in honor of his dead friend, which I think is noble and shit. But I don't know, it just doesn't feel as strong. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like there can be more. So that's why Zoro is my favorite character in One Piece, but I can only give his character a 7.5 in terms of like how well written he is. But it's kind of a sign that he's so highly favored despite not having that much, what I'm saying, told about him. I really thought, because we know he's from Wano because, his family's from Wano because, and it was hinted in the Wano arc or Wano arc. But I think it's weird that we didn't get a full-on character arc for him in Wano when he's from Wano and his parents are from Wano and his dad, his great-grandfather or great-great-grandfather is Ryumi. Like what? Like, it doesn't, nothing. You know what I'm saying? We've got nothing in the story about that, which is crazy considering how Ryumi is a legend in the history. Like, maybe even paralleling the sun god. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, I don't know, it's just kind of like, what the hell? So that's, despite Zoro being my favorite character in the series, I think it's a bit of a disappointment how he's written. And how 1,000+ chapters in, we don't really know Zoro. You know what I'm saying? maybe there's a reason for it, but I think, he could have gave us a false backstory. He could have, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I feel like we should have got more from Zoro in 1,000+ chapters. And this is kind of goes hand in hand with my biggest problem with One Piece, and that's pacing. You know what I'm saying? So Zoro is getting a 7.5, but he's my favorite character. One of my favorite characters, probably in fiction, in manga, when it comes maybe top 15, and yet he's only getting a 7.5 because this is objectivity versus subjectivity. I really enjoy Zoro as a character, but I can see the flaws in how he's written. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people can't really differentiate between liking something versus quality, right? I love Naruto. It's my favorite anime of all time. I don't think it's the best written anime of all time or manga of all time. I just don't think it is. I think Akira is written better. And I think Attack on Titan is written better. I think there's several stuff that's written better. You know what I'm saying? But it's still my favorite. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite movies of all time is Your Name. You know what I'm saying? That's my favorite anime movie ever. There's a good few plot holes and holes in the story that you know what I'm saying, that don't really make sense. It's still my favorite movie, but it's not like a 10 out of 10. Those better written anime movies that I don't even enjoy. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. So I feel like a lot of people can't really differentiate between personal preference and objectivity. And I as an English major in university, I had to learn how to be able to do that. So that's why sometimes people probably hate my opinions. They think I'm super biased or whatever, but I usually tell you if I'm being biased or not. You know what I'm saying? It's rare for me to give a critique with bias. You know what I'm saying? Without explicitly saying that I'm probably biased. So the pacing is horrendous in One Piece. The pacing is terrible. It's not even good. It's horrendous. It's dog shit. Like, it's one of the worst paced stories I've ever read, bro. Like, it is actually, I struggled to get through some of these chapters. And bear in mind, I enjoyed a lot of the shadier arcs more than a lot of people that are fans of One Piece that like grew up in One Piece did. You know what I'm saying? Just going through like the Reddits and all of that stuff. There's a lot of arcs people just didn't like. The one of the arcs that's considered the worst is the arc where we meet Brooke. What's that called again? Thriller Bark arc. Like, to be honest, when I was reading it first, I hated that shit, bro. I was like, this is, what am I reading, bro? I was like, oh my god. And I made a video about it and actually gave it a positive rating because the ending was so powerful. But you know what I'm saying? And I struggled through the first like half of that fucking whole arc, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I actually started enjoying it a lot earlier than just the ending. I kind of enjoyed it when Usopp defeated fear, or defeated negative emotions. You know what I'm saying? Because he's always so negative. I love that part as well. So from there on, I enjoyed it. But a lot of people did not enjoy it at all until the very end with the Zoro scene. And you know what I'm saying? So I think that just showcases like, and there's so many arcs like that. There's so many like even when they're going to what's the Sabodi, is it? Yeah, Sabodi arc. Is it Sabodi arc? Let me actually open up the One Piece arcs just so I can name them correctly, because I kind of have my own name for a lot of these stuff, and that might cause confusion. Like, I call it the slave trade arc. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like there's a lot of fluff, right? So for example, before I even get to that arc, do you remember the island, one of the islands that they go to way early on, where your man is stuck inside a treasure box, and we go there and they find that none of the treasure is there, and then he decides to stay because he wants to protect the wildlife there, and then they just move on, and it's never brought up again, and it serves no purpose in the story whatsoever, and it just happened for no freaking reason. We just spent several chapters there for no reason whatsoever. That's bad pacing, because it adds zero value to the story. Like, you could have put a major arc and have the same shit happen in that major arc. You know what I'm saying? What? Like, it's so pointless. And we waste so much time in that, and it's just like whatever. And I think that's one of the things. Eni's Lobby, I like Eni's Lobby. Most people love Eni's Lobby. But Sabodi, for Sabodi, then it's like when Sanji goes after his lookalike. Like, what? Like, what the hell? Why couldn't it be that once they reach the island that they were going to, that's where he finds the lookalike and he has his own mini side quest there while the main stuff is happening? You know what I'm saying? Instead, we have that whole uselessness happening. And it's just like, oh, you rearranged my face. Thank you for rearranging my face. And it's just a poor excuse to have somebody to protect the ship. But they could have just hid the ship or some shit. They could have like done anything. There's so many ways they could have just, Oda could have wrote that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just a myriad amount of examples for the pacing issues. Sometimes you get like full panels where there's so much text and none of the fucking text matters. You know what I'm saying? It's like even in during the Wano arc when the whole place is kind of on fire, and then you get like a bunch of random dialogue about like, oh no, the place is on fire. Oh no, we're in danger. Oh no, what should we do? On characters you don't give no shits about. And it's like one person saying that gives us enough information. But no, it's repeated like a ton. Like basically saying that we're in danger. And it's like, bro, Oda, you know you drew the shit, bro. You drew pictures of the place on fire and people screaming. Like, you don't need to tell us 15 times that they're in danger. We see Oda, like you know what I'm saying? That I think that's the thing that holds One Piece back the most. I think if you can cut out the fluff, I think One Piece could be a masterpiece. Objectively, not subjectively. You know what I'm saying? Subjectively, anything could be a masterpiece. The worst song in the world could be a masterpiece. That's fine. Objectively, pacing is way too big an issue for me to consider that masterpiece. And I rate it really highly. I rate it like an 8.5 type thing. You know what I mean? So far, you know what I'm saying, having caught up to everything. And you know, those things I enjoy about it more than things I enjoy in Naruto. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of positive in the story. Like, again, like I said, Luffy's fantastic. I think Law is really, really good, especially since he's not like a direct rival, even like really fully rival, because Luffy really considers him as a friend more than anything else. You know, I think his character insertion into the story was just, you know what I'm saying, it was really, really well done. And then if you look at somebody like Kid is poorly written, has zero impact at all in the story, even though I know he helps defeat Big Mom. But you know, let's be real, Law carried heavy. You know what I'm saying? Law carried heavy in that fight. He had no way of hurting Kaido. You know what I'm saying? He really didn't do much. Zoro did way more than Kid in that fight. And then he just got one shot by Shanks. Like, what? Shanks is written well. Shanks is written really, really well. I think he's a quote unquote OP character done right. He's, you know, he kind of kept in the shadows. You know, for a whole 1,000 chapters, by the way. He doesn't have that much character growth, or, you know, we don't really know much about him, but I think his mystery serves his character. So I think he's a fantastically written character. He'll get another 9 for me. You know what I'm saying? He might even get a 9.1. I can't really give him a full rating until the story finishes. So I actually think he could potentially be even higher because he's such a well-written, mysterious character. He's almost like I don't want to say like an Itachi, but in a sense, you know what I'm saying? We still don't really know his full capabilities. Whitebeard I thought was fantastic. I thought he was, you know, maybe an 8.8. You know, reading that war arc, I needed to reread some of those panels because the paneling sometimes is kind of horrendous, and we get these blocks and blocks of text that's just like, bro, you covering up the image, bro. Just say what you need to say. You don't have to fucking explain every single thing that's happening. Like, there's a war. I just want to see the goddamn war. You know what I mean? But then there's, you know, again, there's the Fishman Island as well. Horrendous. Fishman Island arc was, I like the ending of it. I like bits of it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like bits of it. But a lot of it, especially at the start of it, is hella fluff, man. Sanji bleeding out and being out of action because girls are too beautiful is just, to me it's a gag gone way too far. You know what I'm saying? I think a gag should be a thing that suspends, that takes you away from the story and makes you realize, okay, obviously it's fake, and takes the realism out of it just to make it funny or whatever. But this Sanji gag actually literally takes me out of the story and makes me not want to fucking continue reading sometimes, to be honest. Especially when that happened in Fishman Island, I literally wanted to. I actually stopped reading for a few days. I was just like, I don't even want to read this. Like, this is fucking stupid. How is he literally actually out of action from it? You know what I'm saying? Have him bleed out, pass out, and then continue. But he's literally in the hospital and he's about to die, and they need to find a fucking blood donor, and fishmen aren't allowed to do blood donor. Like, now that whole blood donor thing being such a serious topic is ruined for me by the reason why it's being done. You know what I'm saying? Just have him fucking get injured in a fight, because they both crashed. Have him fucking land somewhere that fucked him up. Like, do something. But him bleeding out because of a fucking beautiful girl, so he got a nosebleed and needs blood transfusion, is just stupid. Like, that really pissed me off. Especially since, like, Fishman Island deals a lot with racism and race, and it's such a heavy topic. And I praised him how well I think he did it in the Sabodi arc. You know what I'm saying? I thought he did that, brilliantly, beautifully. I thought that's my favorite arc in One Piece, period. I thought that whole thing was sensational. And then he does this, and it was just like so disappointing, especially considering that he spent the Sabodi arc building up to it and talking about it and how fishmen are expected and treated, and then he does this stupid gag as a way to put them in a situation where they have to do a blood transfusion, and that just felt cheap to me. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a problem there that One Piece sometimes has, is where it inserts jokes and funny things in places where I don't think it needs to be. I think, to be fair, most of the time it's fine, but I think just that Sanji situation is just, I think it's completely out of here, man. And I like Sanji, especially early on. I really liked Sanji, but the more the story went on, I just felt like he's so one-dimensional, bro. I don't know, it's just disappointing, really, because his interaction with the crew outside of the girls is really good. You know what I'm saying? But his interaction with the girls just weighs it down like way too much for me. You know what I'm saying? I even think his reason for not fighting girls so strongly is like, okay, yeah, your dad told you not to fight girls, okay, but like, Jesus Christ, they are trying to kill you. You know what I'm saying? 2 seconds, got a phone call. So I kind of got an important phone call there, and it kind of took my when you're kind of in your bag and in a wave, you kind of took that away. So I'm gonna do a part 2. So this is where part 1 ends. I hope you guys still enjoy the video. It's been your boy Spiritual God. I will talk more about One Piece. I really do like One Piece, despite seeming like I talk about a lot of negatives, but I was just kind of building up to talk about everything else as well. I wanted to talk about more things that I like, which I will try to do in the next video, but I think it's still going to be like a mixed bag of the things I like, the things I didn't like, the things I love, the things I didn't love so much. But anyway, yeah, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe.